What is good, people? Welcome back to the Nerd Council YouTube channel. My name, as always, is Timmy, and today we are talking about the new expansion for the Avengers game, War for Wakanda. Now, the amazing people at Square Enix gave me the chance to go and play this expansion early this week. Massive thank you to you guys, and I have to say, I am excited for people to play this expansion. I think this expansion is coming at such a pivotal time for this game. I think what this expansion is going to allow people to do is actually think about or rethink about revisiting this game, because I know at the beginning there was a lot of heavy criticisms about the Avengers game, about it being too repetitive in moments and not repetitive in a good way. You know, despite the good story campaign, the after game stuff wasn't great. There weren't enough bosses and yada 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 yada, all that kind of stuff. But I think at this point now, with everything they released up to date, the Avengers game is now what I would say good enough for people to come back and join the game. This is the game that I think many people would have wanted at launch, and I think the team at Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix have put in a lot of work to make improvements and make drastic improvements to the game that we will get into, that we will definitely get into, for people who may have played at the beginning and have left to come back, or who are apprehensive about the game to be like, you know what, I'm going to give this game a go. So we're going to get into the expansion, everything I played, everything I learned, everything I saw. But before we get into all that, as always, people, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the button below, ding the bell so you know when we're dropping new videos, and make sure you give us a like on this video as well. Much appreciated. So I got to play the first two missions from the War for Wakanda expansion, and I was honestly blown away by playing as T'Challa Black Panther in this game. I had my reservations. I kind of knew what to expect in regards to movement. I knew he'd move similar to maybe Captain America, because they're kind of very similar fighting styles, but the nuances with the way T'Challa moves are ridiculous. His movesets are nuts. I honestly appreciate the fact that he feels like a very fresh character. It's not just like they copy and pasted Cap with some, you know, and put him in like a Black Panther suit. It's not that in the slightest. T'Challa, Black Panther, or the King of Wakanda, whatever you want to call him, is very much his own character within the game. So the expansion takes place after the events of the main game campaign, so you're kind of picking up right where they left off. Ulysses Claw is the main villain, as you know, I kind of know, like, when Black Panther's involved, Ulysses Claw is somewhere, and the main issue, I guess, that you want to call it within the expansion is that Ulysses Claw has somehow corrupted vibranium. So there's corrupted vibranium all over the place within the map, that you obviously have to deal with as T'Challa, and this comes with new baddies to fight, new enemies, and of course new skill sets for you to utilize as a character. So as with all characters within the game, T'Challa obviously has three movesets that you can utilize: a support heroic, an assault heroic, and an ultimate heroic. Each one is so unique to T'Challa as a character, and you can see the effort that's gone into creating these movesets. So with his support heroic, he utilizes Kimoyo beads. With his assault heroic, he utilizes a spear, and with his ultimate heroic, he summons Bust onto the field and is almost invulnerable to damage, utilizing his Black Panther suit and the vibranium. It's such a experience to play as him that I can't almost describe it into words, because it's so fresh. And we can't also forget his intrinsic ability, which allows him to absorb damage via the vibranium suit. Very similar to, if you've seen the Black Panther films, when Shuri shows off how his suit can absorb damage and throw it back to enemies. That's very much in the game as well. I don't know whether that was a purposeful element that they've added, but it's something that is beautiful to see in game. It's almost as if T'Challa himself as a character is a tank, very similar to the Hulk, where he can absorb damage and then kind of throw that damage back to enemies, and is then souped up for a couple of seconds to deliver massive damage to enemies very quickly as well. And then on top of that, they've also added vibranium and sonic damage gear to the game. So you could have a build where all T'Challa does is vibranium damage in every attack he does, or you can have that with your other characters like Thor or Iron Man. It's going to be interesting to see what vibranium damage can really do. When I did play it, I only got one piece of vibranium gear, so I didn't really get to see it as much. But if it's anything like T'Challa's intrinsic abilities, then it's definitely something that could be very worthwhile to have in any kind of build for any character. Same thing with Sonic. I didn't really get to see any kind of Sonic damage or pick up any Sonic gear, but the fact that that's introduced in the game and it's going to be vital to taking down certain enemies is in itself exciting to think about. Location and scenery wise, this expansion is beautiful. Like, they have brought forth the jungles of Wakanda and the Royal Palace in such detail that you have to play it in, like, you have to play it in 4K. You have to play it in 4K, you have to play it on the next gen consoles or a high performing PC to really get the vibrancy that they brought forth with this expansion. It's little things like how all the kind of like chests are now like with Wakandan designs. It's going into the Royal Palace, and as you pass the guards, they all stand to salute. It's going into Shuri's lab and seeing all the different things going on in there. It's beautiful to look at. If you're a Black Panther fan, you're going to love just exploring this expansion area. Like, you're gonna love roaming around the jungle and roaming around the palace and looking at all the different things, and it's just a beautiful experience. Like Square, Crystal Dynamics, good job. Like, you did that. You really captured the essence of Black Panther and Wakanda with this thing. And Christopher Judge does a really great job voicing T'Challa. It's not what I was necessarily expecting, but it feels authentic to the character. Of course, I'm not expecting some kind of like Chadwick Boseman, you know, copy, but Judge does a good job of creating the character of T'Challa through voice and giving you that regal essence of him through the way he talks in various cutscenes. Like Christopher Judge was a good choice for this. He really did a great job. So people going into this, don't raise your hopes too high of hearing like Chadwick Boseman type accents, but at the same time, Judge does a good job in portraying T'Challa in this game. Something else I also noticed within the expansion that I played is that they've switched up the user interface completely for this game. I'll try and drop a screenshot of it here because I don't know whether that's under embargo or not, but there's a completely new user interface for the game that is a lot more simple to navigate, a lot more easier to get rid of gear and dismantle gear and store gear. That, again, it just goes down to Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix really wanting to make an effort with this game and showcase a game that people can be proud of. It's not a case of like they created the game and they kind of left it to the wayside. They are making efforts on almost a weekly basis to make improvements to this game. So like I said at the beginning, this is a great time to come into this game. You're almost, and then at the end of the day, you're getting 9 characters to play with. You've got Black Panther, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and then you got the rest of the roster where you've got Thor, Black Widow, Miss Marvel, Captain America, Hulk, and Iron Man. Like, you're getting a full roster of characters to play with. You're spoiled for choice. You are spoiled for choice at this point. All in all, I just want to say that I am excited to play this expansion once it drops. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. And T'Challa, Black Panther is definitely going to be my new main. I normally main Thor, and I've got like a really nice build for Thor, but I'm going full out with Black Panther in this. I really hope that I've provided enough hype and anticipation for you guys for you to consider playing this game again, or playing this game for the first time, whatever it is. I know there's been a lot of negativity towards the Avengers game, but I think it's, again, gotten to the point where it's something new for people and it's worth investing your time in, and it's worth playing with your, like, don't get me wrong, as much as there was criticism at the beginning, one thing you cannot doubt with this game is that playing with your friends is fun as hell. Playing this game with other people is freaking fun. So now that you've got more characters to choose from, it's only going to get better. Plus, they've also allowed it so you can all be the same character in one party. So if you wanted to have a party with 4 T'Challas, you could do that. There is no, you're spoiled for choice. You really are. And I hope I'm not coming across as someone who's trying to force you to play this game, but I really want people to kind of consider giving this game another chance, because it deserves another chance. So that is all I've got for this video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. The War for Wakanda expansion dropped